What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for, what is this, part 4 of the King Ranch 7.3 build. Today I'm going to be wiring my wires through the dashboard that's sitting right here in front of me. I'll show you that. So let's get started. I'll show you what I'm working on right now. So here is my 08-64 dash. That was in the truck. I stripped it down. Dash skins over there, and just wires everywhere. But I'm gonna be working with those wires that we saw in the last video that I was testing, kind of running them through here, building my relay block. I'm gonna give you the gist of it right here. I'm not gonna show you how I'm gonna do this whole thing because this is just kind of a lot. It's gonna be different kind of for everyone depending on what options you have and everything else. I'm gonna show you the basic idea though, and that should be enough to get you going. I have a little bit of an updated relay setup that I'm going to run too. I'm going to do the headlights as well, and I'll be sure to put them in the description or make a separate little PDF document or something of what I do, because the old one I used last year definitely needs to be updated. Got to fix a couple things and make a couple improvements. So that's what it's all about, getting better and better every time you explore something. Alright, so this is the harness that you care about. If you see my other videos where I take down the old dash, which would be this one over here, when you take these out, we're going to build the dash outside of the truck on the table, of course, like we see it here. So kind of just want to roughly lay out your harness, and especially if you're new to this, you want to get everything in the right spot and kind of get the gist of the way that the harness goes so that your stuff is in the right spots when you go to line it up. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of strip some of this electrical tape off. I'm going to make the wires a little bit more friendly to snake through here, because the way that they sit is not really meant to go into this dash. So we're going to kind of loosen them up, get some electrical tape off. We'll be able to do a little better than it sits right now. But that's the kind of the idea, is to take this whole thing and put it in here. Now, everything for the most part is just keep it the same. Now, if it's a 99 to 07 or whatever you're swapping, try to keep most of the stuff the same. I mean, you could kind of, everything on the right side, you should be able to easily get in here with no problem. There shouldn't really be much wiring you have to do. The main part of the wiring is to get the steering column to work, which I will kind of show you what I'm doing. And then your gauge cluster plugs come up here. They'll plug in to the back of the cluster, regardless of whichever one you're running. If you're running your stock one, then obviously keep them stock. If you're going a different route with like a cluster helper kit or something, then that's going to be different. But for the most part, the wiring is in the column and the headlights, and nothing else really. Just everything else will be the same. If you're running your 05 to 07 air conditioning thing, that would be right here. It's the same plug, so keep everything the same. Your radio will be the same, especially if you're going with a double DIN aftermarket one. That's even better. So everything, try to keep it the same. There's not really too much wiring that has to be done on the right side. Alright, 02 to 04 guys, you guys are going to like me for this, because this is finally a good fuse box solution to get it under here and mounted nicely. You can see how I have it sitting. You have access to all of your stuff on this side. This is just kind of a mock-up, but I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So here's your fuse box. I took this mount out. You don't need this one, so get rid of that. And you'll come over here, you'll look at here. I had this good idea here. This piece was originally like this. I just chopped it off about, let's just say, like an inch from the bend. And then I took my hand and I bent this piece up, got rid of this one, obviously, that whatever's left, and then I drilled a hole about another inch up so that the bracket can mount here, and then I drilled another hole right here. I marked it up with a Sharpie and got a drill bit in here. So now when it's in here like this, that hole mounts there, and then this upper hole is right here. And then you can do whatever you want with this front one. If you want to make like a little bracket, which I'm probably going to make a bracket, or I'm going to cut this out and bend it up and have like a little mount point here. But look at that. I mean, it's nice and straight, tucked away. I already tested it. The fuse panel won't hit as long as it's far back. And that works really nicely. Additionally, what I did was this bracket was originally straight, like my finger right here. So I just took a hammer and I knocked it a little bit this way. And now it is perfect. It's right where it needs to go. And I think 3 bolting points to this fuse box and it's not going to go anywhere. All right, now check this out. I don't even have it bolted in all the way. I mean, of course it's going to be a little bit loose. But, I mean, for the most part, this thing is in there. And you got access to everything you need. You got your plugs back here, which you can kind of loop around. Not a big deal. And then for this part, this front bolt, I literally just took a pair of pliers and I bent this up a little bit. And I was able to get a bolt through. I just drilled a hole right here. And I put a little spacer here so that it tries to level it out. And I mean, it looks pretty straight. It looks good. And it'll do the job just fine. Now, if you wanted to take this extra 4th bracket that we took off and get it in here somehow, and then maybe cut this 90-degree part off, and then bend this part where my thumb is, if you bend that piece up, maybe you can get it attached to here. It'll make it even sturdier. But once I get this bolted up, it shouldn't move at all. You can see that all that wobble in there. And then the fuse box is done. It's mounted out of the way. Nice and neat. And then you guys should see literally my relay block that I ran last time. I just stripped it out. I get people ask me all the time, like, can you build me a relay block or whatever? And this is it. This is literally what I did on my truck. But I am going to update this by far, make a far superior design than what this is. But this did work fine for a long time. It's not the greatest, but it did do the job. What I did was I snaked it in here. And this is actually one of the pieces of my old dash. And you can get a little one of those 7mm bolts in here. And I just kind of bolted it somewhere here. And then it just stayed up like that. And it worked. Alright guys, I'm filming this video after the fact, a couple weeks later, but I'm going to comment a little bit along the way. Now, this relay block that people always ask me, they're like, can you build me a relay block? And I'm like, I mean, I could take $50 and take 10 relays and stack them on top of each other, but really, is that the right thing to do? Not really. So I don't build relay blocks, I just am showing you really how easy it is, and later in the video I'll explain more on my relay block setup. That's the updated one. That's really easy to build, and it's super easy to do, so just keep watching. But once again, I'm going to kind of update this and make a better looking thing, and something a little better than what this stands is now, but that's where we're at. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to take a break from the dash real quick and move on. I've been doing this is my old like body harness, and there's the Excursion one. The problem is with the Excursion is that it's got the rear like entertainment thing and the thing for the back seat, and then it's got the 6 speaker wires, and when I went to use the radio, they didn't really all work. There was something kind of messed up along the way, and I believe it had to do with the rear entertainment system with the radio and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm gutting my harness. I'm going to take my radio harness and put it in here, and then just make it one shot, easy, neat, with since my truck only has the 4 speakers, not the 6. And then this one also came out of the Excursion, which is a 4-door vehicle, so it has extra stuff all over the place. And rather than just snipping it and leaving it, I would rather just take it all out, make it neat, since it's a single cab, and then just make everything as neat as possible, because I really only want to do this once and not really have to touch this thing ever again. So I figure, you just put in a little bit of extra work, an extra day, and it just is that much better and neater. And I've always been like that, just kind of do things right the first time and get it done. Take a look at all of this electrical tape. This stuff builds up so fast from taking this off. Like, there's a ton of it here. It's absolutely wild. Alright guys, well I just wanted to share this with you. I've been working on this for a few days now, and it's pretty neat. It looks very good. Happy with the way it came out. I wired in everything I needed. All the fancy options, they're all wired in. Telescoping, power folding, mirrors, wired all of them. That's a lot of wires. And I made it go from a crew cab excursion harness to be compatible with the single cab. So I did delete a lot of wires and some unnecessary stuff, because obviously the pickup, they don't have like the lift gate in the back, or whatever you call it, the latch. So yep. Alright guys, so at this point I got the body harness, as you want to call it that. It's in the truck, and I don't think you guys realize, maybe you do, but this was hundreds of wires. This took me forever. I thought this was going to take me one day, but it took me days to do it. I had to go through and eliminate so many wires and cut all of that rear stuff out of the harness for the excursion with the rear doors and whatever. All of that stuff I cut out. I made my own harness basically from scratch. And not even to say that I took all of the extra fancy options that were added to this truck and I wired them in, and that took me forever as well. Those were so many wires that I had to make pins for. I had to put them in connectors. I had to route them with the rest of the wires and tie them in and figure out all at the same time what every single wire did, record all of it. It took me forever. It was so much more work than I anticipated, but it came out really good. So keep watching now and I will describe more and tell you more about it. There's still a little bit of work to be done up here, working on the memory pedals right now. I'm gonna clean that up nice. Doors, I still gotta kind of neaten them up, run it through, but everything is in place, which is the important part, and the body harness for the most part is very neat, so very happy with the way it came out. So yeah guys, we're getting there, very close. I'm gonna kind of show you the dashboard a little bit. I'm working on wiring that at the same time, but I just thought I'd show you this. And it's been a couple of days, I've been just working a lot and I've been very busy with everything, so I figured I'd just take clips after, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to film all of this at once, but you guys hopefully understand. So basically for the rest of this video I will be showing you more of the dash, and we'll go from there, because I wanted to do the body harness first and make sure everything's in place for the dash, so that when we go to plug it in, everything plugs in. There's not going to be any loose wires just going up straight, like a straight shot into the dash. It's all plugs. I wired all of it into the plugs. If I ever need to take it out, I can, but probably won't ever need to take this dash out ever again, but you never know. So alright, well I just wanted to do another little update here. You can see I have a different bumper. My bumper's off over there. I just did the parking aid module for when you back up. It goes like, it does that whatever that noise is, that and when you get close to something it'll go off. And you can't really see much. Oh, there you go. I was able to sneak the parking module right here. It fits perfectly right there, and I ran it down over here and I made my own hole. It looks like it's factory, but that's really not. It's my work right there. And then I snaked it up under here. Let's see if you can see it. Underneath my frame, which I'm half painted, but I snuck it here, which is a real pain in the butt with the fuel tank in the way, but I was able to snake it all the way through and go all the way back. So let me show you that. So you can see back here, here's my plug right here that will plug in, so I can run them on the bumper. I'm gonna temporarily use that one for now, because it has the holes, and I don't want to drill holes in my nice one, so this one is, why ruin it if I don't have to. But I'm gonna keep this one on here temporarily for testing purposes and stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. All right, quick update video on the dashboard wiring. I got everything adapted to where I wanted it to be and what I wanted it to do for all these extra options that I'm running. So I basically like ran this whole harness custom and did so many wires in it. Like I had to go through every single wire, but pretty much every wire. But now I got it in here, so I'm running it and kind of plugging it into my fuse thing. Here's my folding mirrors relay, which I wired up the whole mirror setup, and then I'm kind of just slowly scattering it through, and it's going to plug in where it's got to plug in. But everything on here is right, it's done right, it's all plugs, so it's not just, if I ever wanted to take the dash out, which I probably never will again, but if I had to for some reason, it's all plugs. I can unplug it. I built it that way, and everything has a spot, and everything is recorded, and I know all the wire colors and all that stuff, so I just took my time and did it right, so if, in case anything down the road changes, I can pull this out very easily, and I know each wire and what it does. So yep, now I'm going to slowly just kind of wire this up. We're going to get the column taken care of, the relay block, and everything else. Okay, now we've reached the point in the video where I'm going to show you some pictures and a couple clips of the relay setup that I have. Now I'm going to make a video in the future, couple weeks or couple videos away, I promise, real soon, about the relay setup in depth and kind of thing. Now I'm going to charge money for it because I did spend a lot of time figuring it out, and everything does work correctly. My last relay setup didn't work correctly. Not everything worked the way it should. High beams weren't really working correctly, like the flash to pass and things like that, hazards, and the left blinker was on all the time, no matter if the key was in the truck or not, and that sort of thing. I figured everything out. I went through, took the time. So I'm going to be charging a little bit of money for it, not much. In that video, I'm going to show you exactly how I set my relays up, what I built it out of, where I mounted them, like that sort of thing, and go really into depth. I'm going to show you, like, just preview right now, pictures and everything, but I will show you all the functions and everything and show you and prove to you that it is right. That's no more than you would need. Everything works in the factory settings like it would if you had an '08 truck. Everything is there, it works correctly. So I will show you all of that. I'll show you all of the column wiring, every single wire that you would need to do, at least for an '02 to '04. But yeah, like I said, I will cover that in a future video, very in depth, but for now I will just show you the clips, so enjoy here. Alright, well, I just found this out. If you're going to run the fuse box like I did, you're going to have a little bit of clearance issue, so trim this little piece out right here on the side so that this bracket fits nice. And then I knew I was going to have to trim this piece. This comes across, and then see, the fuse box is sticking out barely, but you don't want that hitting. So I give it plenty of clearance, and then when your fuse panel goes on, you'll have plenty of room to cover that up. And I mean, look at how neat that looks. That is very clean and tidy under there. Everything fits perfectly, and you still have all access to all your fuses, and if you go under, you can get the back end of the fuse box. So this is a good setup, and you can sand this and clean it up nice and make it almost look like get that cut a little straighter and sand it and make it look really good, almost like you never even cut it. So alright guys, that's going to wrap up the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next video will be all the duct work and stuff, getting that stuff working right. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy that video because it's got some surprises in it, and some good info that I think will help a lot of people. But that's going to be it. If you like this video, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you're new, leave me a like on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.